What's up guys, this is Travis from DIY Auto, and today I'm going to be showing you how to change the oil in your car at home. Stay tuned. So I'm going to be changing the oil in my Acura TL, but this should be the same process with really any car. So first I got to get the car jacked up so I can get onto there, so let's jump onto there. Okay, so going under the car here, you can see I picked a jack point right here. That's going to be kind of the front of the frame there, so let's get it jacked up. Okay, so now that we have it jacked up, I'm gonna jump over to the sides and I'm gonna place my jack stands and then get this off the jack. So on the driver's side here, I'm gonna slide the jack stand under here and position it so it is on, get this to focus, so it's on that jack stand point there. And I'm gonna go to the passenger side and do the same thing. Once we have the car jacked up, then we have to grab the socket to get that oil bolt out. That's the drain plug. So it's usually for every car, I think it's gonna be different, but for my car, it's a 17 millimeter. So I have it on a socket of 17. Now I'll show you where the oil drain plug is, or the bolt, and it's gonna be right under the car, kind of gonna be right below on the bottom of the engine. So let's get under there and check it out.
It says engine oil. And then the bolt is going to be right back there, and that's going to be the 17 millimeter that we're going to be loosening. Now once you take this off, oil is going to pour out, so I'll show you what I use to catch the oil.
Okay, so this is what I use. It's just a big tub, and I'll just take off this cap here, and then I will put this under the bolt, and then it will drain all the oil in there, and I can cap it off and I can pour it in for recycling. Now if you don't have one of these, you can always just use like a tub or a bucket, something holds at least 5 quarts, and you should be good to go. So let's get this under the bolt, let's get the bolt taken off, and let's get that oil out of there. Okay, and we'll let all that dirty oil drain out. Also at this time, this is when I'm gonna take the oil cap off. That'll help the air kind of get sucked up and it'll drain faster. Hey guys, just want to interrupt this video just to let you know that I am going to be starting a gaming channel where I'm going to be live streaming, so you can jump in when I'm live, come ask me some questions. We can hang out, talk about cars, and I'd love to meet you guys because you guys are the reason why I'm making these videos. So I'll see you there. So while we wait for that oil to finish dripping out of the oil pan, I would recommend also changing the oil filter when you do every oil change. It's recommended, most of them are recommended for like 20,000 miles, 1 year, but I just change it every time I change my oil. They're really cheap, less than like 10 bucks. They are going to be vehicle specific, but any auto parts employee can help you find the right one for your car. So I'll show you where the Acura TL one is located, and then I'll show you a trick as well. So I'm under the passenger side of the vehicle right now. You can see the passenger tires right here. So if you look up right there, you see that kind of that cylinder, that is going to be the oil filter. So I'm going to grab that, get that pulled off, and I can show you a trick for putting the new one on. And it should be hand tight, but there are tools as well to help you get it off, but it should be just hand tightened on there. So let's get that off right now. And there is going to be some oil in there, so I just try to catch myself. I'm probably making a mess, so I'm just going to let that drip out before I take it off completely. Just left it in there because it's dripping with oil. I see I made a little bit of a mess. I'm going to get that cleaned up with some paper towels before I put the oil filter, or the new filter, back in, and then we will continue. Okay, so this is a new filter, and this is an old trick that my dad taught me to make sure you get a good seal around this rubber edge here. Is you're just gonna dip your fingers in some of the old oil, and then you're just gonna rub your fingers along this rubber here, and that's gonna make it so you have a real good seal when you put this one back on. An important thing to check is to make sure that rubber, this would focus, that little rubber ring doesn't stick to your engine, and it'll come off. So you can see this one still has it on. So I'm all good. So let's get that screwed back on. It's really easy. Just make sure you hand tighten it, and then we can start putting in some oil. Okay, so all the oil has now drained out of the engine, and now I'm gonna put back on the 17 millimeter bolt, and then we can start filling it up with oil. Okay, so when choosing your oils, you have a lot of different options for brands, but you have to make sure you get the right kind of oil for your car. So look at the owner's manual, Google it, but for my Acura TL, I use 5W20. So you can, let me turn this around, you can clearly see the 5W20. It ranges quite a bit differently for every car, so just make sure you look at your owner's manual, Google it if you don't have your manual. And then right where we remove the cap, that is where we're going to be filling up the oil back into the engine. Now if you've got an incredibly steady pour, you don't need one, but I'm going to be using a funnel because I do not. So I'm going to pop that right in there. If you're not sure how much oil to put in your car, I always go with the amount of quarts that the engine is. So this is a 3.2 liters, so I'd probably put in about 3 quarts, and then I would check the oil dipstick to see where the level was, and I would keep just putting in oil until I had the right amount in there. But I know for a fact for my car that it's 4.2, about 4 1/4 quarts, so let's get it filled up. Okay, so now that we've got the oil put in the engine, we're gonna put the cap back on. We're gonna get it off of the jack stands, and we're gonna check the oil level one more time here on the dipstick. So now that you have the car off the jack stands and it's back on the ground, now it's time to check to make sure that you filled it up with enough oil, or maybe you filled it up with too much. So you're gonna check the dipstick, you're gonna pull it out, you're gonna clean it, and then dip it back in all the way. Take your hands off and pull it back up. Now every end of the dipstick is gonna be different for each car, but as you can see on mine, that will focus, focus. So you can see those zigzag lines there, there's crisscrossed lines. You can see you want the engine oil level to be between or in that line. If it's over here, you have too much oil, and if it's under, it's not enough oil. So just make sure that you have enough there, and that's it. You're all done. You just change your oil at home. All right, well, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Let me know in the comments below what you want to see me do next. Thanks so much, guys. See you next time.